I'm Little Sean, and these are the smoke signals. The baby saved his life. Who knew where we were going? Who even cared? Not me. And there we were, sitting at a table at a restaurant named Jezebel's on 9th Ave. Me and Jimmy, waiting for what we ordered when his cell phone rang. The second he hung up, we went in his pocket, pulled out some cash, left it on the table for service we never got, and we were out the door. When we got in the car, we sped off. We drove in silence. All I remember was a tree-lined block on the Upper East Side. Beautiful brownstone homes, connected one after another. He pulled into a space directly across from the one we were visiting. He lifted up the middle console, dug in it, pulled out his gun, then reached back in and handed me one. That was all I needed to know. We got out the car, walked casually across the street, up a set of stairs, and instead of ringing the bell, Jimmy made a phone call. And that's when I saw him, through the glass of those double doors. It was Peter Thomas. Door swings open, we walk in, no words. We're standing in this wood-covered living room, quiet, too quiet. Then Peter says, "What's up?" No response. He read the room, 'cause he knew. And just like that, he turns and leaves the room. Now it's just me and Jimmy standing there. No TV, no noise, just air. Then out of nowhere, here he comes again, holding a newborn baby. Beautiful, light-skinned baby. I think it was a girl. Then he did the unthinkable. He drops the baby right in Jimmy's unsuspecting arms. The look on Jimmy's face, priceless. Now it's three of us standing there. Me, Jimmy, and Peter. But only two of us knew what was really going on. That baby, probably in her 30s right now, not even knowing her father used her to save his life. Then the mother walks in, big smile, speaks to Jimmy like everything is normal. She didn't know either. Jimmy hands the baby back to the better parent, in my opinion, and we leave. Back to the car, guns back in the stash, and we drive off. In the same silence we came in with. About 5 lights later, 10 minutes maybe, Jimmy finally speaks. "Can you believe this fag? This fucking dude." I didn't even ask what happened. I didn't care. Those were the rules back then. Unwritten, but understood. And anybody could get it. That night, it was gonna be Peter. This story only gets told now because he decided to say my name on a podcast like that was a smart thing to do. Which in my humblest opinion, it wasn't. But you know how it go. Some people reach a certain age and forget, but others never cared to remember. Like Mark Wahlberg at the end of The Departed. Plastic bag on his shoes. Yeah, that was gonna be Peter. Now let's backtrack for a second. If at one time in your life, prior to this guy's incarceration, you were a fan of R. Kelly, there was always a fine print on the back of those albums from the very beginning that read, Tav Dash, but no one ever made mention of it. That logo belonged to the chief, the late David Hyatt, who made his home in Miami before being sentenced to life in prison for a drug conviction. As a matter of fact, it has often been said that Hyatt was the creator of How Can I Be Down, along with Peter Thomas and Jimmy Henchman. Even way back in the early 90s, being around Peter, you never got the impression that he was in possession of his own money. Therefore, I always assumed he was the one that connected Hyatt to Henchman. then rallied the labels to participate in the newest music convention held in everyone's favorite place at that time, Miami. Jimmy invests, Hyatt invests. Peter, not so much. But who's really in charge of the sponsorship money from the record companies? And why the hell can I be down discontinue? Now let's get back to the soup that never made it to the table at Jezebel's on 9th. Then fast forward. A newborn baby in a stranger's arms that showed up to discipline her father. David Hyatt dies in prison. Jimmy Henchman is sentenced to life. Peter Thomas ends up on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, marries Cynthia Bailey, then divorces her, but still owes her money. Or the situation with the Bar One restaurants, tax issues, and Peter eventually doing a tiny stint in jail. Can you say behavioral pattern? This is why I didn't have to ask while we were in that man's unfurnished living room. There was always a spirit of bullshit flying low above that gray-bearded, bald old nigga. Smoke signals as checks and balances. A response to everything that's ever mentioned my name in vain. The needle and the voodoo doll. These words now enter those elected veins. That's the study of semantics. I'm Little Sean, and these are the smoke signals.